work, as that's the most important thing and will secure your future unquestionably. We get started speaker-wise today with a gentleman who's not too busy this week, just kidding. Of course, we've got the Louisiana High School Athletic Association State Championship games coming up in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome this Thursday through Saturday. We call it the Marathon. It's 1 week this year. Starts Thursday at noon and ends Saturday night at some point in time, and we're all looking forward to it. And he is the executive director of the LHSAA. He previously served in a similar capacity for the Nevada Interscholastic Activities Association, and he's here to tell us today about what to expect and what's going on with the organization. It's great to have him with us. We appreciate him being here. Please give a very warm Quarterback Club welcome to Mr. Eddie Bonine. Eddie?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Ken, and the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation for this opportunity today. And I can't believe that this is the third time I've had a chance to be here. Boy, does time fly when you're having fun. But the event coming up is one, like Ken mentioned, that was in 2013 was held on one weekend, and then we moved to double weekends, and now we're back to the single weekend, which we listen to coaches, and I think that's what not only the coaches wanted, but also it worked out well with the event venue, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and cooperating with the Saints, and being able to continue the contract extension that we now have working with the Saints and MSG and the New Orleans Superdome. This week entails a busy time. We're starting down here today. Staff is at the Dome getting set up. We start the practices tomorrow for the schools that are going to play on Thursday, and the schools that are going to play on Friday are practicing on Thursday, and rolling it on down the road until we get done on Saturday. With the time frame we have now, with the noon, 3:30, and 7 format, the conversation was always who's going to play that noon game. Well, we thought that through, and we've established a rotation, so as we move forward, not everyone's going to have that game, but we took into consideration the travel time, we took into consideration the matchups, and if you've had a chance to see the brackets, I can honestly say, standing here as the executive director, we hit a home run when it comes to matchups and the schools that are advancing to the Superdome to play for those championships starting Thursday at noon. In the organization, we're moving in a positive direction, I truly feel, as the executive director. We just finished what we call our winter executive committee meeting last week, where we had numerous topics for discussion, but we established and set the agenda for our January annual convention, which had numerous topics and numerous items that are being put forward by the principals, in which we make adjustments to our Constitution and also to our bylaws. We did have a couple of proposals submitted by authors of select and non-select, or private, non-private schools, if you will, that would address the present select, non-select format in the sports of basketball, baseball, and softball. This past year was the first year we did have the select, non-select format for those respective sports, and there has proposals been submitted to bring those back together instead of the split format, which will be voted on by the principals at the January convention. Not a lot of other items on there other than just some housekeeping, if you will. There was a proposal also made to adjust some classification pieces. I helped author one to present a 4-year classification period versus a 2-year classification period. Having had a chance to review it over time since I've been here, it seems as though we have the same 25 or 30 schools on the bubble, and we shuffle the entire deck. We'll still have the ability after 2 years to address those items, but it gives us an opportunity for those schools who want to lock into contracts with schools on home and away schedules longer than a 2-year period, but also it addresses the rivalries and gives us an opportunity to actually have some competitive balance through the course of that 4-year period, adjusting it to. Again, that would be something that would have to be approved by the principals at our January convention. We've had some staff changes through the course of time, I brought with me today an individual with whom is now our Director of Media Communications and Public Relations. I took a little different route with this particular position, which was held by, if you call Mr. Jacob Doyle. I went to the media side, more on the production, TV, radio, broadcast, and tri-disciplinary degree coming out of LSU. We have approximately right over 400 schools, right at about 390 plus athletic directors, over 12,000 coaches, 5,000 officials, and over 93,000 students. And all of us in this room are here because we work for students. And that has always been my mantra since I've been here. Students first with me, it'll always be that way with me. And they're our clients. And I truly believe that we need to listen to them, we need to talk to them, and to do so, we've taken a large leap in the social media platform. We've had Twitters, we've had Snapchat, we've had other forms of Facebook, we have LHSAA TV, we have other forms of platforms, but we just haven't used them completely to, I think, to their extent. And I think the numbers that Ms. Gibson, I'm introducing, she's going to come up and give you, are just with our Snapchat piece. And how many of you actually have a Snapchat account or know what I'm talking about when I say Snapchat? Please just raise your hand if you know what I mean. Okay, not as many as I thought, but we still have an idea. Well, let's put it this way. If you want to communicate with students in the high school and collegiate level, that's the direction you have to go. Mr. Ken Trahan has had an account with, and we've followed it as well, and he also has been following what we've been doing. So the numbers you're going to hear may sound Greek to some of you. It did to me until about 2 years ago. But the bottom line is that now the numbers are going to jump off the page at you on how we're now communicating with our students through the LHSAA and able to establish that line of communication. So is there any questions? I don't want to take the format. Are there questions for me now?
Raise your hand.
If you have a question, please, you got my undivided attention. I'll gladly answer anything, and if not, I'll go to Tiara. Question? Yes, sir.
The proposal that's being presented excludes football? It didn't bring football in to bring the classes back together?
No, sir, it does not.
Okay, that was submitted on purpose, so it'd probably get passed if it didn't include football? Is that what it was?
No, sir, the proposal was specifically for basketball, baseball, and softball, and football. We did not have any proposals in regards to moving football back together.
So we need a different proposal to bring football?
That is correct. Football would have to be a standalone in itself and can't piggyback on that on the floor for amendment.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
What determines the playing times for the different classifications, divisions?
We spoke to the Louisiana Football Coaches Association as well as Louisiana High School Coaches Association and looked at the time slots and the selection. The criterion is travel time. Who brings the biggest crowds in prime time and who those prime time games should be. And be honest with you, when we set it up, it's difficult to who's going to want to play, who are you going to put at noon, who are you going to put at 3:30 on those Thursdays. That was the bone of contention back in the day, whenever the origination of the format in 2013. So there's never a win-win, if you will, but it's not done deliberately for one specific division or not. Again, I think this format is here to stay, meaning this one weekend play is here to stay. It's been overwhelmingly positive to my office that we're glad we came back to this. And another part of this is also that there's an annual football coaches convention that has always been tied to and it was on separate weekends, and we weren't able to get everybody there. And so that's going to increase that job alike and the ability for them to get some continuing education as it comes to the Coaches Association. So no rhyme and or reason other than what I just told you now, and we try to make it as fair as possible, but whoever's playing the divisions that are playing that noon game on Thursday and Friday won't be playing that noon game next week or next year. That we'll establish so we make sure. But again, how far somebody's traveling and the matchup depends on it as well, so we make sure we get the optimum amount of time and abilities to travel and the crowd. Any other questions while you got me here? If not, you can always grab me at the Dome. I'm always willing to talk to somebody about something. Okay, at this point, I'd like to please give a warm welcome to Ms. Tiara Gibson. She is the Director of Communications and Public Relations for the LHSAA. Tiara.
All right, good afternoon. Thanks so much to the Quarterback Club for having us come out. It's so awesome to be out of the office for just a little while during this week. I've never been in the office so much as I have in the past 2 weeks. But So Eddie brought me on kind of to get more in touch with our students. As Eddie said, 93,000 students, and we weren't really doing a super job of getting where they are. Students are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whether we like it or not. And so we decided to just really invest in those platforms. Why try to create something else when they're already using something that works? So I have some analytics from our Twitter. I can throw numbers at you and it's not really going to mean much, but we've overall doubled profile visits, numbers of tweets, our new followers at this time compared to last year. We have 100 more per month. So this all just comes from tweeting more and trying to tweet more about what kids care about. Obviously, the state of Louisiana is very proud of its alumni, especially its football alumni and the college and professional playing arenas. And so being strategic with tweeting with a purpose, using social media with a purpose to really get with our kids and get with our audience. So I've learned via trial and error what our followers care about and what our followers don't really care about. And so that's been really good for me to learn as well. So like what Eddie was saying with our Snapchat, like I said, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat are kind of called the big four. Twitter is really big for us because it just allows us to tweet. We can tweet as many times a day. Snapchat is really great for us to be able to provide people not at our state championship events with kind of an in-depth and a view as though they were at the state championship as well. So we instituted geofilters, which some of you may not know what a geofilter is, but a geofilter is on Snapchat. It uses your phone's geographic location. Kind of scary, I know. And it tells you, so if you're at the Superdome between the December 7th and December 9th this weekend, on your Snapchat will pop up the official LHSAA Prep Classic geofilter. And I don't know why young adults my age, kids love geofilters. They love being able to tell other kids where they are without necessarily needing to say, I'm at the Superdome at the Prep Classic. So we use geofilters, and that allows us to get more of a platform to offer additional advertising opportunities. So this year we just did geofilters for volleyball, cross country, swimming. You'll see one at football, so obviously I don't have any data from that one, but for volleyball we had almost 250,000 views on our geofilter. Cross country was 118,000, swimming was 155,000. So that is a view is anybody who sees the geofilter. I use it, I put it on my Snapchat story. You guys are my friends, you view it. Those are all views, and those are possible advertising avenues in the future, doing a talk and tease geofilter, doing one for the Sugar Bowl specifically, doing one for the Superdome. So Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like I said, those are kind of our big four. Those are the avenues that we're really trying to connect with our students. And so far, according to the numbers, it's been pretty good. So I know some of that might be a little bit moot to this audience, but if anybody has any questions about what we're doing media-wise, social media-wise, the games this weekend, just for your information, are going to be televised on CST, and they will be live streamed on the NFHS network as well. We have several radio stations coming in to broadcast them live as well. So if anybody has any questions, I would be happy. Yes, sir.
Yeah, all this is very exciting. Are y'all going to also put out like polls on these different social media to get your students' feedback?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought that up. Twitter, I really like Twitter because it comes with analytics software in it, so it gives us hard data right away. So, for example, this is a little bit facetious, but we did a poll the day before we left for Thanksgiving and did a Thanksgiving pie poll. Is it pecan or is it pecan? And obviously that's more of a fun thing, but we were able to get about 250 people who voted on that. And so we have the opportunity to tweet, how was your experience at the Dome this year? What did you think of the geofilters? Would you like, what did you think of the Talking Tees t-shirt opportunities? So there are different things, and I mean, I think it could even grow as far as these proposals that Mr. Bonine is talking about. I think that we could tweak some of those, and because we really need to get our students' input, because the students are the ones who have to go out and physically play in those games. So I think that we can use Twitter to run polls on other things besides, what do you call pecan pie?
That sounds great. So if I can suggest a poll, ask the students if they want the championships to come back to the 5 classes or not.
I have actually asked Mr. Bonine if we can do that very thing, so that's at the top of my list. So I appreciate it. Does anybody else have any questions? I played volleyball at LSU, by the way, if you're wondering. Nothing else. All right. Thank you so much, and thanks to the quarterback club.